Okay, it is Tuesday, right? Yeah, today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday the 21st. I got my 66. I took that back home, got it put in the barn, did some shuffling, got the tee and the planter put in the barn. So all the planting stuff is under a roof because supposedly we have a chance of severe storms possibly creating tornadoes tonight, but they also say it's only a 50% chance. But anymore, I don't know what a 50% chance means, because we had a 50% chance of rain last night, and that 50% chance turned into 3/10 of an inch. Actually, it never made it 3/10. It basically, we got a 1/4 inch out of it, but it basically turned into a 1/4 inch in a span of 30 minutes. So I don't know what the, at this point, if it rains, it rains. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But with that being said, there are a few wet spots that are proving, well, not proving to be difficult. They're the wet spots that are always wet. But if it ends up not raining tonight, they are just close enough that if I can get them broke open, we might get them dried out in time to plant before. Now they're saying we got rain Friday. Before we were good till Saturday, but now they're saying we got rain Friday, nothing Saturday. But I don't know. Like I say, if it rains, it rains. But I want to try to at least be prepared. So there's 2 cornfields and a bean field that I want to go hit some wet spots in with the disc. This is where I wish I had, I wish I had a front wheel assist. That being said, I'd rather have a second 4-wheel drive, because a 4-wheel drive will do things the front wheel assist will only laugh at. And one of these days, if I ever get my 4270 and this thing comes off of heavy tillage duty, all of a sudden now the 4150 becomes your chore 4-wheel drive. If you need to throw it on a disc, you can go break open some wet spots, or go spread some fertilizer on some ant ground, or you know, whatever. And if I end up, I wanted to have a new 15 foot, new to me, 15-foot drill for this season, but grain prices and the way last fall went and everything, I just said screw it. We just put a bunch of money into the 64 last spring with new blades and stuff. Might as well run it for another season. It's done me good. But if I end up getting a 15-foot no-till drill, the eventual plan would probably be to pull it with this. It won't happen right away, because until I get a 4270, or that's what I want to have, until I get a bigger 4-wheel drive to take over tillage duty from this thing. This is obviously going to have to still be on tillage duty, so if I get a drill, it's either going to go behind the 1800 if it'll lift it, or the 1955. And the reason I say the 1800 if it'll lift it is because I think the 1800 is only, somebody has shimmed it, but I think it's only making 1800 psi. If I remember right, they're 1600 stock, but I could be off. Somebody shimmed the 1950T way up, and it's making 2500 psi, but it's good, so I've just left it. But anyway, that's kind of the eventual plan for this. Is this thing's gonna, I'll never get rid of it. I could never get out of it what I got into it, and we have a love-hate relationship that nobody else would ever have with it, so I'm not getting rid of it. But it'll be a nice tractor to have for that kind of thing, because especially pulling a bean drill, because you got all them tires that don't weigh shit. One of these days I want to get it across the scale and see what it actually weighs, but it don't weigh much. So your ground pressure would be nil. Okay, let me finish getting unhooked here, and We'll get her on the test. Okay, we'll see what kind of a mess we can make. It should be somewhat firm because there wasn't any water standing here yesterday before we got that rain. It was just had that glazed, shiny look to it. So I don't think it's gonna be terrible. But gotta get it. The only way this spot will dry out at the rate things are going is to get it broke open so that the air can actually get to it instead of the water just sitting here on top. So we shall see. But there's this spot here, that spot over there in the corner. At least try it. If it doesn't dry out, I'll plant around it, and if it dries out later, then I can come back with the field cultivator and put beans in this front part in that corner. But I prefer to be able to plant the whole thing to corn. It would be nice. It'd make life easier. Surely make it easier to plant. Hopefully I get my tile project done on this winter. We're still waiting. AEP hasn't started their tree project yet. And you can't dig the ditch until the trees are gone, and can't put any tile in until we dig the ditch. what the heck the right answer is. Do you just say screw it and farm around it? I mean, this one I don't mind so much because it's easy to plan around. You just run your end rows, you know, it's easy to run end rows around it. The other one sucks. That ain't gonna come. I thought it was drier than that. It's apparently not. That ain't gonna come dry for a good long minute. I think getting this busted open is definitely gonna help it, especially if that rain misses us tonight. But I don't know. I think the best course of action, especially if I want to keep getting corn in the ground, is just plant around it. I don't know. I do not know. Alright, let's see if we have any better luck at this field. I doubt. Well, let's just see what happens. Looking rock. Hello there, Mr. Alligator Snapping Turtle. Let's see if we can get you not here. You are rather calm. I hope this isn't a female, and I hope she wasn't laying eggs. But I'm kind of thinking that's what was going on. But I'm sorry, darling, you can't live there. You're not going to appreciate what's going to happen to your family. You just go back in the swamp. Cleaned up except for that spot right there and that spot right there. There's still water standing in both of them. I mean, shit, by the time you get this broke open, let it set tomorrow and dry, and then fit it Thursday, and we got a slight chance of rain Friday. Hopefully that doesn't amount to anything. I'm kind of doing this in the hopes that they'll take that back out, but plus whatever happens tonight, if anything happens tonight. Hopefully nothing happens tonight. If something does happen tonight, I guess this whole plan shot to shit anyhow. But if you let it set tomorrow and dry out, and then hopefully run the finisher over at Thursday and get it planted Friday, you're at the 24th already. And we got a bunch of rain forecasted for next week. So I don't know if this is, I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not. I wish somebody could tell me. I really do. And this, if it was going to beans, I would contemplate waiting and see if it would actually dry up all the way so you could plant it right. But since it's corn, I'd really just like to get it done. Just like that field. This, if I get this field finished, this would finish up the 2335. And if I get mom and dad's planted, well, grandma and grandpa's, that's technically not mom and dad's. If I get grandma and grandpa's planted, even if I have to go around the wet spots, that would finish up to 2177. So that's 2 hybrids finished up. And then all I would have going to muck, or going to corn, is the muck in 2 other fields, one of which isn't even chisel plowed yet, because it's the field where I got rained out. And I've still got a bean field that needs chisel plowed. And I need to get fertilizer spread over there at mom and dad's. If I decide to pull the trigger on that, which if it doesn't rain a bunch tonight, I'll do that tomorrow. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not. I was gonna go work a wet spot in a bean field, but I think I'm gonna have enough of a chore getting these 2 cornfields in. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it here. And hopefully the storm tonight is more bark than bite and we don't get much rain out of it. And at this point, I guess we'll go from there. So we will catch you guys hopefully tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Alright, I went and got a load of fertilizer so we could spread this field. We're gonna have to up our timetable a little bit because they keep pushing that rain up Friday. This did dry out some. As much as I'd like to see it have another day, we're not gonna be able to sneak this far over. But my plan is I'm gonna get what I can get planted in this to corn, and then like this spot here and that spot there, if it dries out enough this summer or later this month or whenever, hit it with a field cultivator, come out here, plant beans. That's the plan. That way at least they're doing something productive other than just sitting there growing the weeds. But you gotta do something, because it may not dry out at all. My gate should be set where I want it. Gate set where I want it, so we're good to go. getting into the wind and it took the hat right off my head. I'm gonna have to get up the back, I think. And don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the wind, it's drying things out, but holy cow. Alright, let's see how close we can get to these things without getting stuck. Or we might get stuck, you never know. It's an adventure. Come on, Darwin. basically able to shoot a straight line off of the back of the driveway here, straight out, and then duck in towards the road. Couldn't get any closer. As tacky as it is, get it planted, nothing might even come up right here, but what the hell can you do at this point? Got more rain coming. And then, well, screw it, you'll see that tomorrow. We got one more field to hit, but anyway, this is this corner. Kicker of it is you get like right back in here, completely different story. I did hit this field twice just because I didn't like the way it looked after the first shot, but the second time it laid down really nice. So let's go see if we can get stuck at the next one. Alright, this one didn't work down too bad. There's a couple sticky spots. There's one right here next to the apple trees. It's one of them that's always there. And then basically the two that we already knew about, which I was able to sneak all the way up, and I basically was able to hit everything that I disked on this field anyhow. The other field I had to leave some of what I disked, because one of the Achilles heels of that finisher, and I don't know if it's a Glencoeism or if all finishers are like that, but that thing does not float for shit. You hit a soft spot, it wants to go to China. But had to leave that spot and that spot, so. And I still, it's going to be probably a little bumpy planting it, but I am still thinking that this time, rather than farming it this away, I'm going to farm it this away. A, I think it'll make planting around that spot easier because it's skinny and long. And B, crossing the waterway, it's just going to be a dip rather than trying to follow it for 2 passes. So I think that's the route I'm going to go. It will, however, make planting around that damn telephone pole a little bit of a struggle. I might have to, what I might do is, at least here by the road, put however many end rows I need to get up to this pole. Maybe. We'll just have to see how it lays out. I don't know. I hate a bunch of end rows. I like 16 end rows. More than that, I don't like a bunch of end rows. It's just that much corn gets knocked down. It's that much more you gotta, it's just, anyway. So we will catch you guys tomorrow planting corn. All right, let's go see if we can plant some corn. In order to cut down the back and forth, I just went over and put the nurse tank behind the 1 ton so Dad can meet me at the field. Because the one I'm going to start on, I can get in one fill easy, and then he can just drop the truck there at Grandma and Grandpa's, and I have to worry about bringing me back to get my truck and a bunch of back and forth and yada yada yada. So anyhow, I called yesterday and talked to the people at Sensor One to see if they had ever seen an issue with a monitor not calculating acreage if you hook their sensor up to it. And he said yes, he had seen it before. He said it doesn't happen often, but he has seen it, and it's nothing to do with the GPS itself. It's something to do with how the monitor's communicating. And it was something you gotta have the monitor fixed. So just in order to, because I was gonna call Ag Express and talk to them about it, but then I figured before I call and talk to them, I probably need to try the monitor again with my old speed calibration number running off of the pickup on the planter. So we're gonna unhook the GPS for now to eliminate that. And where's my little cap here? And we're just gonna run off the planter sensor for now to see if that solves the problem, and then that will pretty much indicate that it is indeed the monitor. I mean, there's nothing in the puck that will make the monitor not, so it's got to be something in the monitor anyhow. But at least this way I can confirm, so when I call down to Ag Express, I can say, hey, I got this monitor. When it does this, it doesn't do this, and when I do this, it does this. That way, obviously nothing I'd get fixed before we're done planting, but when I get done planting, that means that I can take the monitor and the puck and send it down there to them and say, hey, make these two work together. So there, I was able to, one of the nice things about YouTube is I was able to go back from my video last year doing the calibration run and get my old calibration number back. So, actually I'll just change that right now while I'm thinking about it. Yeah. I want speed set. Nope, I want setup, speed setup 1480, and I want 7885. Nope, that's right. 7885. Oop, whoops, wrong button. 7885. And then row spacing is the same, number of rows should stay the same. Operate. Okay, with that being said, let's skedaddle. Alright, we're loaded. Dad's heading back. I got one extra seed bag I threw over there by the telephone pole. I shouldn't need it because it's 5 acres, so that should be 2 bags, but I figured if I didn't leave it here with me, I'd need it. try to make a bunch of short rows here going this way in front of this telephone pole. 24 basically worked out perfect. Without the GPS on there, now I'm getting acres, so definitely something screwy in the circuit board. Have to get fixed so it'll communicate with the GPS, because the GPS could be a lot more accurate. But anyhow, should be good. That's one field done. The angle worked out. It's gonna be funny to see if anybody gives me shit because it's not planted perfectly perpendicular to the road. It's planted at like a 30-degree angle because I followed the angle of the driveway. And so it's gonna be interesting to see if anybody gives me shit for it. But the angle worked out perfect because I was able to split the telephone pole between two planter passes, so I don't have any dead rows deadheading in. I basically matched the angle of that wet hole. I did put 8 end rows on either side just to make planting up to it easier, but so we'll try it for this year, see if I like farming it this way. I may hate it and I may never plant it this way again. I may like it and this might be the way I farm it, but anyhow, figure out where I can throw my seed bag on here so that it'll make the ride home, and we'll go get the 10 acres at Grandma and Grandpa's. All right, we are over here at Grandma and Grandpa's. There's just enough seed in these boxes. I mean, there's a fair bit in there, and since this field's going to a different hybrid, and it's my 98-day hybrid that I'm kind of doing my test with. Hopefully this year goes better than last year if we get adequate rainfall. I'm not gonna pull the plates and drain the boxes all the way, but I'm at least gonna pull the plugs and drain out what's in the boxes themselves. Sit. Close enough. I almost wonder if I could have got away with not putting that second mag in, but it was hard to judge what was still in here from running the other day. Oh, you bitch, you would do that. Put seed in the inner liner. Oh well, anyway, this is what I gotta do. Well, I had 2 rows start running out on me with like maybe an eighth, 3/4 of an acre to go ish. So I don't want to be playing the, well, there's not really enough seed around or left in here to be playing the move stuff around game. So I'm just gonna take some of this 2335 because I don't want to have to open an entire bag of the 2177 because I can return it the way it sits. So if I just trickle some of this in there, since this bag's already been open, and everything will be just fine. Well, I don't know if it was right or wrong, but there's 2 more fields done. I was able to get, the nice thing about that planter, I kind of drug it a little bit through where it was disked and I couldn't get with the finisher, just to squeak a little bit more out of it over here and over there. Don't know if it'll come up, but there's seed there. So, and now that I've got some hours on it, I need to adjust some brakes up a little bit because one of them's getting kind of soft on me. But other than that, and the acre counter's working, apparently between that and that I must have lost about 2/10 of an acre because this should be about a 9-acre field and it came up at 8.8, if that's accurate. So a few of my entrance and exits on this side of the field and in line with the wet spot on that side of the field are going to be a little wonky because I was trying to, and you can see like right here I was cutting in, making the turn, because the planter will go through it sitting down, but when you get it picked up and it's on the wheels, that's a little different story. That's where guys get themselves in trouble. They can drag a planter through a wet spot sitting down because you got the weight spread out all over the row units, but when you got all that weight sitting on 4 tires, that's changes the ball game a little bit. So hopefully it comes up. They kind of half-assed took the rain out of tomorrow, but now they're saying it's supposed to hit tomorrow night, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to formulate a plan of action. Friday night, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms, chance of rain 60%. And then Saturday's supposed to be nice, and Sunday it sounds like we're pretty sure gonna get some rain. And Monday and Tuesday are 40% chance, and then 3 decent days next. I don't know. At this point, it will or it won't. But I'm gonna get this thing back home, get it back in the barn, and formulate a plan as to how we're gonna proceed from here, because the plan stopped at getting these 2 fields done. Realized I forgot to end the video properly, so everything's stuck back in the barn, which is nice. I tell you what, it's strange. This is the weirdest year. There's guys that, you know, farm nice, light, well-drained ground that are done or almost done planting right now, and then there's guys that are literally just getting started. Like, I'm talking like just starting on tillage, like not even planting, just like literally just getting started on field work, period, because it's just, some of their ground's just drying out enough. So definitely an interesting year. I am very, very grateful though that I got as much chisel plowing done this last winter as I have, because otherwise this spring would be a shit show. Corn wouldn't be terrible because I'd probably have to shell out the, would have had to shell out the cash to buy a set of row cleaners for this thing, and then I could have no-tilled corn in with it if need be. Beans I would have been renting or something, probably hunting down a no-till drill to get, it would have been a nightmare. It probably would have cost a lot more money. But anyhow, I gotta go poke some fields and see what the next course of action is. So with that being said, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.